Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In this video we're going to make the ground and jump mechanics. So now if you hit play, as you can see the player can't jump and she's actually floating above the ground, and if there's no ground below she'll just fall down. So without further ado, let's get started. Welcome back guys. First of all, we're going to change some things. First we're going to put the main camera on the player, and we are going to adjust it so that it be behind the player in a good place. After that we are going to change some things about the rigid body here. First we will disable use gravity. Usual unity when you make a player you use is kinematic, you enable it, but for now I don't want to enable it because I'm going to apply forces to the rigid body. But I'm going to just phrase the rotation so that forces can't change the rotation for the player. It will just can change the position. Next we are going to open Visual Studio for editing. We are going to add some new variables. First, rigid body rig. After that I'm going to add a public layer mask and call it ground mask. And as you can guess from the name, it's the layer for the ground that I'm going to do later on in this tutorial. Next I'm going to add some new booleans. First is grounded, and the next one is boolean is jumping. And I'm going to add a float and call it jump time. This is the duration for the jump for the player, and I'll make it 0.75. It's totally up to you. And then I'm going to add a capsule collider and call it capsule. This is the capsule collider on the player. So now I'm going to make the reference rig equal get component rigid body. After that the capsule call get component capsule collider. Then if we go to the update function, we can see the code that we wrote in the last episode. So I'm going to make a new void moving, and I'm going to put all this code in this function, and I'm just going to call it from the update. Next I'm going to make a new void ground, and as you can guess this is the void that we are going to detect if we are above the ground or not. So we are going to make array cast hit and call it hit. After that if physics dot sphere cast, it will start from transform to position, and then from the capsule collider capsule dot radius. This is the radius for the sphere cast. After that we need to set the direction. It's minus transform dot up, and that means it's down. And then the distance, which we will make it equal to 1.5. I think that's fine. After that the layer mask, which we called ground mask. So if we hit something, we need to make is grounded equal true. So if we are grounded and we are not currently jumping, so if we are not jumping is jumping, we want the rigid body dot velocity equal new vector 3, and that means we are going to stop any force that we apply to the rigid body, so it will not move downward again. So else, if we are not in the ground and we are not currently jumping, we are going to make is grounded equal to false, and we are going to change the rigid body dot velocity, and we're going to make it minus transform dot up, that means downward, multiply by 5, for example. You can't change that if you didn't like it. And that's it for the ground function. We are just going to call it from the update ground. So now if we go to Unity, and I figured out that we have two errors here. First, I didn't close the brackets here, and I didn't give an out hit for this. The hit is the place where the sphere cast hits the mask that we want to detect. So if I save this and go to Unity, we will add a new layer here for the plane, and we will call it environment, and we're going to give it to the plane environment, and here in the player the ground mask is the environment. So if we hit it and we went to Unity, if we move around now and there's no ground below us, we're going to fall down, even though we disable the use gravity here. So now we can detect if we are grounded. Next, we are going to make the jump function. We'll call it jump. So first, if input dot get button down, and its name is jump, and you can see it here in edit project settings, and its name is jump here, and you can call it using space. Next, if we are not currently jumping, is jumping, and we are grounded, so we don't want to jump while we are falling from a place. So we'll make jump is jumping equal true, and then we're going to apply a force to the rigid body, add force, transform dot up, so the force is going to apply it upward, multiplies by some constant value. You can change that if you want, make it bigger or smaller, doesn't matter. After that, we are going to use something called coroutines. Start coroutine, we're going to call stop jumping, which we didn't make yet, and we can make a coroutine using enumerator, call it stop jumping. And what does the enumerator do? It's make a function do anything but after a short time, and you can do that by using yield return new wait for seconds. So it will wait for this amount of time that you give it, and after that it's going to make the function that you want to do. And we're going to pass jump time, the float that we did before. And after that we're going to make is jumping equal false. Sometimes animator doesn't work if you don't have the namespace using system.collection, so be careful to write it if Unity doesn't apply to you by default. So we'll save that, but first we're going to call the jump from the update function. So jump, save that, go to Unity. So now if we hit play, as you can see we can't jump, and the character can float now, as you can see. And if we aren't above any ground, she will just fall down. So guys, that's it for this video. In the next video we're going to make the flying mechanics, and maybe we're going to make a script for the camera. So without further ado, I'll see you on the next video.